Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and yet another episode of the questions you should be having or the conversations you should be having with your significant other before you're thinking about taking on the next phase of your relationship. I mean, it is a no-brainer, guys. You need to have conversations. It is healthy to have conversations. Why not? Yes. So let's get into it. Today I will be talking about a very important conversation to be having. Now, this conversation actually starts when you guys decide to have a relationship. You don't need to wait for the next phase. This is a conversation you need to have right away, just a few days into the relationship, okay? And the question or the topic is about sexual health. I know, it's controversial, it is personal. You have to have it. It is the bedrock of every relationship. I mean, people go into relationship and one of the things they do is have intimacy. That's it. And so having this conversation is doing yourself a huge favor, massive favor. Physical intimacy is the part and parcel of a healthy relationship, and finding out your partner's sexual health is key, to be safe. It's key to having that sexual healthy relationship. I will classify this as the first question you probably should be bringing into the conversation table. As much as safe sex practice is highly advisable at the start, knowing that history gives you the confidence and information that you need to discern if the relationship is the right one for you. So a very important conversation to be having is sexual health. I know, as personal and controversial this is, it is the bedrock for every relationship. Physical intimacy is part and parcel of a healthy relationship. Yes. And finding out your partner's sexual health is key to having that healthy intimacy. I would classify this as the first question you probably should be bringing into the conversation table. Yes. As much as safe sex practice is highly advisable, it is inevitable that you both would then engage in a non-safe sex situation, or you find yourself having intimacy without practicing safe sex. It is what it is. So knowing your partner's sexual history gives you the confidence and information to discern if the relationship is indeed the right one for you. Now, some would say why? Well, you want to know why? I came across this article on Twitter from I think Cleveland Health, and it's based off of a recent data published by the CDC, and this was in 2018. It did say that 1 in 5 people had an STI on any given day, and that averages up to about a few millions of people having a sexually transmitted infection. The data also reveals that 26 million newly acquired cases were recorded. That is a lot, and the age gap or the age bracket within which this infection was highly prevalent was from 15 to 24 years old. And that is a lot. Tells you what you need to know. Like, you cannot avoid this conversation. You cannot avoid having it at all. You don't want to be in a situation whereby you're like, oh my God, I wish I did. The numbers actually illustrate how common it is to come in contact with or be in close proximity with someone who has an STI or who has had an STI or even an STD. So it's a lot. We need to be talking about this. Why not? We should be. We already can see the devastating trend of hepatitis, HIV, and what have you has had on our society. I would not think you would want to go into a relationship that would alter the course of your life. I believe it is a criminal offense not to disclose your sexual health to your significant other. I think so. If it is not, it should be. So whatever decision taken after said disclosure should be one that is right for you. This is the sort of conversation that can bring out the worst in people. So it is best to have a sort of conversation in a safe space, in an environment that is safe for the both parties. Now, I would suggest that when it is time to have this conversation with your significant other about, an STI or an STD history, your best bet is to meet in a safe place to have this conversation. Be open and be prepared to answer whatever question that comes from this revelation. Try to remain calm and not get overly aggressive or defensive. It is normal for people to feel personal about what you're sharing, and the reaction, can be a little bit shaking, and so you have to be prepared for that. It's not just about you, it's about the person that's revealing as well. And so if your partner needs time or space to process things, be respectful, be mindful, give them that space. You need to remain calm and understanding of the situation, because imagine if it was you that was, on the receiving end. I think you would feel the need for someone to have given you full disclosure, right? Absolutely. And whatever revelation that comes out of this, do not force your partner's hand to outrightly make a decision on the spot. You need to give them time to come to terms with what you've revealed to them, and allow them to come to a place where they are comfortable to share their opinion or give you feedback. Remember, discretion and the rule of confidentiality applies in this case. There's no easy way to start the conversation, but not having it says a lot about the type of relationship that you are in. The other question, which in this day and age is now very critical, if it wasn't a conversation our parents, it's not a conversation our parents readily had at the time, but with gender fluidity as well as the different sexuality of people now coming to the fore, it is crucial to ask the question, so that if you are with someone who is still on the fence about their sexuality, or they are being forced to live a lie with you, or because society frowns upon a certain sexual type or sexual state or sexual what of you. And again, it's very common in my society where I'm from that people stay in the closet forever because society frowns against you being open about your sexuality. And so the principles of acceptance differ from countries and cultures to countries and way of life. It will be in your best interest as well as theirs to be asking this question. Have you experimented with your sexuality? What do you consider yourself as? Are you straight? Are you bi? Are you curious? It is whatever floats your boat when it comes to this sort of question. Are you gay? Are you a lesbian? Are you trans? You need to know where they are at, and knowing where they are at is actually respecting your partner and respecting where they are at. It is easy for us to, judge when we are not walking in that person's shoes. But again, my point is not trying to break your situation. My point is giving you or empowering you with the information and knowledge to be able to make a decision that is right for the both of you. You don't want to go in 10 years down and there's regret, there's why didn't we talk about this, why didn't we talk about that. Have the conversations now. It doesn't hurt to start having this conversation. You can start it off from a funny place and it gets serious. However way it suits the both of you, it is essential that you guys are talking about it. Until next time when we tackle on more questions, stay safe.